Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes on the private server Rebirth. We are with our level 37 Stalker Tiger Shrike, who just reached level 37 recently. I want to point out we have 4.7 million XP, 868,000 to go. We're almost at the point where we need a million per level, and in fact, if you look, we have a bead and a half. We probably needed about 1 million to get to level 38. So 37 levels, right? 37 levels took us like 4.5 million XP. And then one level takes a million more. So it's like this level is going to take 25%, more than 25% of what it, or almost 25% of what it took to gain the first 37 levels, which is just insane. You can see how the leveling curve just spikes way up. But the thing is, you get a lot more XP per villain as well, so it's not as quite as bad as it sounds because we're also getting like 10 times more XP than we were getting some levels ago, right? So we were working on Kadeo Kestro, trying to get a story arc from him, and he says, "I need you to save some policemen from the Circle of Thorns. 4 officers were kidnapped from Daniel's Donut Shack a few minutes ago, and it seems that they were targeted. None of the other customers were harmed. The Circle is planning something. You have 60 minutes to find them." And this is in Talus Island. So we'll head over to the train station and go get them. So we're level 37 now, and we did an episode, part of an episode last time where we were, finished with our, where am I going the wrong way? Finished with our slotting. Next we need to get our level 38 and 39 slots in. Right? And then we're gonna be pretty good on our slots by the time we get to our next power. Well, wait a minute. We get our level 38 power, then we get our 39 and 40 slots. Sorry. I thought about that for a second. I'm like, wait a minute. I know the next power is 41. What happened to 38? Yeah, we gotta get our level 38 power. That's gonna be Moment of Glory. And Moment of Glory is a panic power. It used to be, if I remember this correctly, Moment of Glory used to be the most powerful panic power of them all. Because it basically made you, I think it made it so that you couldn't recover any hit points, right? But when it was active, you had like an insane, like 95% resistance, and you were impossible to hit. And you guys have seen the pre-nerf version of Moment of Glory if you've watched the Scrapper videos against the Cray, and we will see them if we fight them. The Cray Paragon Protectors, which are we should be starting to see with one of our next contacts in this level range. They do this thing where they pump their fist in the air and make like a screaming sound, and then you cannot hit them. And if you hit them, you do like 2 damage. That's what original Moment of Glory used to be like. I don't think the player version of Moment of Glory is like that any further. And so I don't know what it's like. My recollection, oh darn, these guys are only +2. I'd rather they be +3. My recollection is, so this is going to be rough until we get to level 38 with these guys, because the +2s are still going to have the Earth and Nervous Spectrals. But we're fine. Anyway, I believe the book on Moment of Glory, if you want to call it that, the popular opinion on Moment of Glory is that it, we don't need that red. It's almost not worth taking anymore. Now, I don't know whether that's really true or not. The when when the hardcore City of Heroes gamers are talking about whether something is worth it or not, it's often a totally different mindset from me, right? I'm perfectly fine with situational powers. For example, a lot of people would just hate Shockwave. It's an AoE cone. It doesn't do the kind of damage that Eviscerate does. The base damage on Shockwave is 50, right? The base damage on Eviscerate is probably 100, right? So you're doing a lot less damage per hit. And it's a cone, so you have to be sort of careful about how you arrange it. And this is going to be hard because there's extra guys right there because there's a kidnap victim. So I'm going to do a pull here. You have to be careful about how you arrange your positioning so that you hit more than one guy. Shockwave is worth it if you hit, say, 3 guys. It's barely worth it maybe if you hit 2. And there are a lot of people who would say, I don't even take Shockwave, because their attitude is, if I'm not going to use it as part of my regular attack chain all the time, it's not worth taking at all. I'd rather just not even bother and take a different power like leadership or maneuvers that I can use 100% of the time. And I understand that, but that isn't my mentality. My mentality is I've got a perfectly closed attack chain with my regular individual powers, right? My Assassin's Claw plus these 4. And I'm perfectly happy to have a situational power as an extra that I don't need, right? It's a situational power. I don't have to have it running all the time. I'm perfectly happy for it to be situational. Same with instant healing. If you watch the way I use it way less often than I use these other powers. Now, part of that's because I didn't have the recharge set on it yet, and I didn't want to use it and then need it in the next battle. But the other part of it is that it's not straight healing, right? It's regen. And so if you're way down here, regen is not going to help you until you heal yourself back up. And then by then, oftentimes, the battle's over already. And so I don't click it as often. And again, there are people who would say if you're not using it in every battle, it's not worth taking. And they're not wrong. That's the way they want to play, and that's their way of wanting to handle it, but it's not the way I handle it. And similarly with Moment of Glory, I suspect that because they can't use it all the time because it's situational, a lot of people don't like it. They also know it's nowhere near as powerful as it used to be, and they don't like that either. So I'm not sure what it does. Unfortunately, you can hover over this to see resist and defense to all but psionics and plus recovery, but it doesn't give you the numbers until you actually take the power. So where you can see the power before you select it in the power selection screen. It's not completely blind selection, but I can't talk anymore about how that power is going to work until I see the details. And I mean, I could look it up, but it's not worth it. We're going to take it, and we'll see what the power says when we take it at level 38. But yeah, I mean, I used to have these debates, I guess, on the forum all the time with people, like with Elude, right? There were lots of people who played Reflex Scrappers who would say Elude is only worth taking if you're going to do perma elude, right? If you're not going to do it perma, it's not worth taking because you have this awful crash, which if you've watched the Scrapper videos, you've seen this awful crash where you completely, your endurance comes all the way down, it shuts off all your toggles, and then you can't recover endurance for 20 seconds. And so it will get you killed in a battle if you're in a long battle and you don't know what you're doing and you're not ready for it, or you're just don't have a good plan for what to do when it drops, and that thing drops and all your toggles drop, you die. And you can handle it, you can survive it, and you guys saw me survive it over and over and over again. Except when I forgot that it was going to drop, which usually happened when, oh darn, I didn't see the demon here. That's really frustrating. Let's placate him. See if I can do a little extra damage to him. You've seen me. This double spawn. Hang on. Yeah, I did not see that there were 2 spawns here. Okay. Too busy talking. And I keep forgetting, you know, how many times I've been in Orenbeka when they have those little, like, diamond-shaped intersections, and they put 2 spawns on either side of the intersection. And the first couple times you could see me getting tricked by it, but because I'm talking, I guess, I keep forgetting to check for that at every intersection. And the problem is it's only at a couple of the intersections. I'm going to go ahead and take a couple extra yellows here because of the stupid debuffing. And that'll make it a little bit easier. I'll be able to use them with a little more impunity. So yeah, because it only is true at like 10% of the intersections, and I just get lulled into just walking past the other, 90% of the intersections, I always get caught in those. Silver Phoenix got hit with that a lot. I didn't die in any of them. The problem is I did not recognize that I was facing 2 spawns. I just saw the extra guy and I just didn't register. Yeah, you're facing 2 spawns. I just thought it was like a lieutenant and 2 minions. I know that's not a standard spawn, right? But I was busy talking, so my brain just didn't register that. Sorry about that, guys. So back to what we were saying with, things like Moment of Glory, right? That could have saved my life right there. If I had it, I could have hit Moment of Glory, and that would have saved my life. The character wouldn't have died. Elude, same thing, right? Moment of Glory in some ways is better than Elude, because Elude only gives you dodge, and that's it. A lot of dodge. But if you get hit, I mean, you've seen, like, when I was fighting, if you've watched the Scrapper video, when I was fighting Vanessa DeVore, she had a psychic power that was auto-hit. 93% chance to hit, even with Elude running. Right? It just was not a positional power. So the beauty of Super Reflex is it's not weak to Psionic like this thing is. So this would have been no defense against her either, because Psionic. It's not weak to Psionic like this thing is. This is the problem, man. This was one heck of a set of spawns. So this is 3 spawns, it looks like, right? Because there was a Nerva here. There was another Earththorn here with this lieutenant. There's an Earththorn with this lieutenant, and then there's like a double spawn here. So there were 3 spawns in the same place. Either that or 2 extra strength spawns. It looks like 3 spawns from how they're positioned. Right, this guy's positioned here. This guy's positioned here. And then this guy is positioned here. So I'm going to see if I can take this guy out and then back up. So the way Elude and Super Reflex work is that Super Reflex is positional. So that means you get defense against ranged, against melee, and against AoEs, right? And nearly every attack in the game is defined as either a ranged attack, a melee attack, or an AoE attack, right? Nearly every attack in the game. I think we're okay to come in here. But Vanessa DeVore's psychic attack must apparently be non-positional, right? It's not defined as any position. And so when the game goes to check, and it's one of the only attacks in the game I've ever seen like that, when the game goes to check, is this a power you're protected against, right? The answer is no, because it's not in any particular position, right? And so, sorry, I'm distracted by keeping track of what I'm doing here. I'm trying not to do something stupid again. So that attack worked, and with you turn on Elude, if that attack works auto hit, I think she killed me, right? Because I didn't realize when I first went to attack her that it was auto hit, and I had with Super Reflexes you have no defense other than dodge. So if something can hit you through the dodge, or something just gets lucky and rolls, and you saw that in the I think in one of the episodes, and in fact one you didn't see, the final episode I did with Silver Phoenix, the last battle, oh good, these are +2, no Earththorn. The last battle I did with Silver Phoenix, she died in the last fight, and I had a res, and I was like, oh, why in the last fight? The guy attacking her rolled like a 1 and a 0, like an 0.1, like that. The final blow that hit her through Elude, the villain rolled a 0.01, right, to hit So it's an auto hit no matter what. There's no way to defense against that. And then, since it's reflex, there's no defense other than that dodge. And so you just take full damage. Moment of Glory, and Elude is like that, right? Moment of Glory gives you resistance as well as dodge, right? So if this character had been running Moment of Glory at the time when, and was hit like that, right, it would not have killed her because she would have had some resistance in addition to the dodging. Right now, I don't think it gives you as much dodge as Elude. I'm not really sure. I think the pre-nerf version probably did, and I suspect one of the reasons it got nerfed is because reflex scrappers were complaining that we only get dodge. These guys get dodge and resistance, so they shouldn't get as much dodge as we do. And probably the most frustrating thing about super reflexes is that it was so good at dodge, and we're gonna have to come back to this other area, I guess. But it was a one-trick pony. It only did dodge. So if anything auto hit, you're screwed. If you're fighting a lot of enemies, you're screwed because they're going to get lucky, right? More swings at the random number generator is more chances to roll a crit fail or a crit success or whatever. And so that part was really makes you struggle. And one of the complaints, if you look at this character, right? And let's not. Oh, there's another spawn back there. Let's not look at Hyde because Hyde is a. Oh wow, there's a Nerva Demon even at +2. Okay. Hyde is Stalker specific, right? So if a Brood or I don't know if Broods get regen or tanks now with power set proliferation. They might, I'm not really sure. But if we're looking at Scrapper, Brood, Tanker type regen, assuming they get it, it would be different because there's no Hyde, right? You have quick recovery instead. So Hyde's not in the power set for all intents and purposes. We're not going to pay attention to it. It wasn't there in the original power set, and it was added to every single Stalker, so it's not power set specific, and Hyde does the same thing in every power set. But if we look at the other powers that she has, you will notice that although most of her powers are heal-based, Resilience gives you some resistance, and Moment of Glory gives you some resistance and some defense. So this character has two powers that do something other than what her secondary mainly does, which is heal, right? Two powers that do resistance, and one of those powers also does defense, right? If you look at Invulnerability, which is mostly a resistance set, Invincibility gives you extra defense. Dull Pain gives you healing, right? So, and this is true if you look at every defense set in the game except Super Reflex. All of them give you primarily one thing, but then they secondarily give you at least one other aspect of defensiveness, right? So they'll give you primarily resistance, but they'll give you a little defense and a little bit of heal. Or like with regen, it gives you primarily heal, but it gives you a little defense and a little bit more resistance, right? Oh, look at this. So we're going to have to pull these guys too. I'm going to have to take these guys out like this because I think we want to make sure that we assassinate this Demon Lord because they're horrible. And now we need to get out of here, and I'm not going to be able to get out. Here we go, let's get out. Alright, we're going to go through the teleporter. So that's the most important thing, is to take that guy out. Did it not let me through? It's not letting me go through. Why? Oh, because I got super speed on. Alright, well, we got out of the way, so we're alright. So, every power set in the game, except for super reflexes, And ninjutsu, which is just a renamed super reflexes, has other defenses except its primary. And the main defense of super reflex is dodge, and it's all you have. This is really... Wow, this is another like 3 spawns in one place. We gotta make sure we get these lieutenants. They're so powerful. We can't give up the assassination on them. Alright, now we get out again. And we let a couple of them come to me. So that was a complaint that Reflex Scrappers had, was that, look, we're really happy with our power set in general, right? But could you please give us something else? Or give us one power, even if it's just in elude. So let elude give us resistance as well as defense, or plus regen. Or give us in the passives, right? Let the passive also be a little bit of extra regeneration speed. Or let the passes be resistance instead of defense. And the developers never were willing to do that. And it's one thing I never understood. I mean, I understand it and don't, which is sort of weird. It just seems so logical to me that all defenses should work essentially the same way, and that's why there are 3 spawns, because there are 2 kidnapped victims in the same place. It seemed logical to me that all defenses should work the same way, in the sense that they all should give you mostly whatever their primary theme is, and then a little bit of the other defenses. And they never wanted to do that with Super Reflex, and only Super Reflex. And that part I never understood. On the other hand, in gameplay, you can see how powerful Super Reflex really could be with our Reflex Scrapper. And she is really awesome. And I never really had trouble against anything. Even Vanessa DeVore, once I knew what she was doing to me, yeah, just use some purple inspirations against her. And that's the end of this whole base. But it's definitely easier when you have a power set that does multiple things, because you're protected in multiple ways. Now, one of the huge advantages of Super Reflexes is because it was positional, and other than Vanessa DeVore and maybe one other enemy in the whole game, nothing was auto-hit. Everything was positional. There are no holes in Reflex. It works against Psychic and Toxic and Energy and Fire and Smashing and Lethal. It works against everything. Most defenses have a hole, like Psychic. Super Reflexes does not, which is awesome. So this thing, Psychic isn't really a hole in our character either. Regen doesn't, other than Moment of Glory, which doesn't defend you against Psychic. There's no hole in Regen either, because you can heal everything, right? So you just hit heal, and it's going to work whether it's ranged or melee, whether it's smashing or lethal or fire or whatever. Okay, so he says, there may be a commendation in it for you, Tiger Shrike. I can't remember when I've seen the Chief of Police so happy. So, yep. And now we have, there have been rumors that the Warriors leader under King Thunder has stolen a book of magic from the Circle of Thorns. According to the rumor, the Circle had only just acquired the book themselves, and they were looking to get it back. The rumor just might match with a recent disturbance in King's Row. The Warriors are planning on some big right to get, in their words, the Circle's mystics watching those preparations closely. To get, and there's word of the Circle's mystics watching the preparation closely. Could you investigate the ritual and recover the book? And that's it. We're on a story arc. Okay, not sure which one this is. My memory fails me, as it often does with these. I'm not sure which one this is. Oddly, we got no enhancements from that. If you think about, like, just a mission or two ago fighting the Nemesis, and we got, like, a whole entire tray, a whole row of... why did I go back to Talos Island? Guys, I'm not paying attention today. We got a whole tray of enhancements from the Nemesis guys, and then we fought the Circle of Thorns, and I think we had the orange one before we started. So didn't get any appreciable salvage. Got one recipe. We're doing really well. We've got millions of XP, millions of influence and XP. So I mentioned it was 2.9 mil to level up the enhancements that we have. At level 37, roughly 3 mil. And the pattern continues to be about 1.5 times the previous cost. Assuming that continues, and I think it does, just because of the number of enhancements you get with the 3 for 2 of the next 3 levels. I think that we're looking at about 4.5 mil, just under that, for level 42, and then somewhere around 6 mil for level 47. And then we're going to need, so that's 10.5 mil and say 11 mil. And we have 17, so we're done. You know, we don't need any influence until the end of the game. Or at least to level 50. And after that, we're going to need influence for the incarnate stuff. Insane amounts of influence at the upper tiers. But at least to get to level 50, we are all set. Alright, so let's actually stop being idiots here. I'll stop being an idiot, and let's scout this around. I think there are guys upstairs. Yep. And there's a glowy, and there's multiple guys up here because of the kidnapping. So this is going to take some finessing, because the guys downstairs could see me also. Alright, well, let's take a little bit of luck for good measure and assassinate this guy. Yep, those guys saw me, unfortunately. And we got a clue from the guy, but we're going to have to kill these guys first to see the clue. Got him. Alright, so now we should be alright, because there's only one of them left. I don't think the guys downstairs are going to see me through all this. Right, through all the terrain, as it were. Got him, and now it's just a guide, so no problem. So Shrike should be a little bit better at power now. I want to finish that out, for sure. But we won't be doing that till level 39, and he is stuck. There he goes. Nope, he can't figure out how to go downstairs for some reason. Now I hear a glowy. Where is that? Oh, there's a dead body over there. Okay, so let's take out the Nerva first. So if you're, by the way, let's ask a question. I like asking questions. If you're watching and you play the game, and you played Stalkers, Scrappers, Tanks, or Brutes, the melee classes, what's your favorite secondary, and why? Do you like super reflexes? Do you prefer regen? Do you like the self-heal? Do you prefer something like more resistance? Do you prefer more of a jack-of-all-trades type defense? What do you like best? Stone, embalm, ice, fire, willpower. Is there a guy attacking me from over here? No. Super reflex, ninjutsu. What's your favorite? And why? I think my favorite will always be super reflex, even though it's a one-trick pony. I just really like that it's toggle based. I know being toggle heavy frustrates. Oh my gosh. These spawns are insane. 1, 2, 3, 4 spawns. All in one place. Goodness. Well, let's pull these guys around the corner. So reflex is a one-trick pony. A lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't like toggle heavy builds because of the endurance, but I absolutely love toggles because they're set it and forget it, and one less thing you have to remember to click. Now, that doesn't mean I don't like the click heavy regen. I love regen. I love being able to just heal whenever I need it. It's awesome. Wow. Alright, let's see if we can pull these guys. It seems so ridiculous to do that as a Stalker, but with like 3 or 4 spawns all built up in one place that are all +3 to me, I think we need to. I don't know what that is doing to me. Scimitar, no, that's not what I want. I want to know what the wind is doing to me. Doesn't seem to be doing much. It's not affecting up here. This doesn't seem to be changing my resistance, defense, or accuracy. So I don't know. We still need to find the book. I wonder if it's going to be with one of the bodies, or if it's going to be like in its own box. Not sure. Don't remember. Yeah, they're blowing stuff at me, but I don't see... Oh, there it is, there it is. Snowstorm. I was trying to see what this is. Minus run speed, minus jump. Like, who the hell cares? What a crappy debuff. I mean, that might be important tactically, but if these guys are going to do that instead of, like, the Earth Thorns giving me minus 25 defense, that's why they're so much less dangerous. So I guess you can't jump while it's active? Who cares? I mean, at least Caltrops, when that does it, they're also, like, doing damage to you while you can't jump, so that you can't jump over them. Let's take a look at our clues. A Book of Ancient Magic. So if a handwritten book and then a ritual gone horribly right after the rescue. Oh, this must be the Envoy of Shadows. Oh, man, it's going to be interesting to see how we do against him. And that I'm going to have to lower the mission level for, I think. I don't know. Unless we have Moment of Glory, I don't know whether we can beat the Envoy of Shadows at +3. I think +1 might be enough. Let's see. So, the book, we stole it from the circle, but we didn't know. We tried the rituals. It asked for power, promised power, and we did as it asked. It crossed over a bridge of our greed, but it broke through the bindings, and now it was on us. Flames and shadows. Yeah, this is the Envoy of Shadows. The circle knew they came to meet it, and it went with them. Okay. So this is going to be the Envoy of Shadows. So this is going to be really tough. Without fighting him will be really tough. So he looks like this, but he's an elite boss, and fighting him will be really, really hard without Moment of Glory. And I think even with Elude running, I still got smacked around by him a couple of times, and I know I died more than once to him. I died twice in one mission, and then ended up, like, I was going to go out and come back in, but I did the rest of the mission first, and I got the mission to see if I could get some inspirations, and it did mission complete, and then I couldn't go out and come back in, and I had no inspiration, so I knew I couldn't fight him. He's really brutal. Now, he also might have had an auto hit power, I'm not sure. That I might not have, like, registered while I was fighting him. And that may have been part of the issue. Also, I'm not sure, but I may have not had Elude when I first started fighting him. So, yeah, we're just going to have to see. If we have Moment of Glory, it's no problem, but I don't think we're going to have it. And so... And at +2, +3, Envoy might be unbeatable. Not sure. Just solo, you know. And the other thing too is that Silver Phoenix already had a couple of sets at this point, whereas I don't have any sets for those bonuses either. And there's a little body here. Not sure what that's going to tell me. Nothing. So we got an endurance reducer. We don't need that. Mission complete. So we're going to head out and see what Cadeo Kestrel says. He says, from what I can make out of King Thunder's story, it sounds like the warriors tried to summon something powerful, but it got free. The weird thing is, it sounds like whatever they summoned, it went with a circle of thorns, which also matches the ceremony you describe. It seems like whatever crossed over to the world, a circle was trying to cover its tracks. And if we look at the clues, Envoy of Shadow. Okay. So, let's see. We've been 35 minutes, so we're going to stop here. I will keep working on this story arc in the next episode. Until then, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes.